Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. Guess what? It's been 2.5 years since you've heard an episode. Oh my gosh, what happened? Well, there's been a lot in store, but first I want to tell you about what is to come. So for me, I really wanted to bring the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast back. I took the last 2.5 years to get some inspiration. I wanted to reach out to the market in different ways. I wanted to go international. And so I actually have been supporting private practices in the last 2.5 years all over the world, put on conferences now, we're putting on workshops, and I'm really tapping into a whole new pH level in the water of our private practice. And I when thinking about bringing this podcast back, it was really critical to me that I not only bring, obviously, my personality, my fire, all that fun stuff, but that I can bring some real life strategies and case studies and different vision for the podcast. And so I want to talk a little bit about what to expect in the updated Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. So first and foremost, we're going from 1 episode a month to 2 episodes a week. I know. Can you believe that? 2 episodes. So every week you're going to get to learn in a long format that I call our Private Practice Survival Guide Learning Strategies. And then we're going to have a separate episode that's a quick tip episode. Whether you're driving in the car, whether you're in front of your computer, whether you're working out, you're going to be able to tap into the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast on all of your podcast streaming devices. You're going to be able to watch it on YouTube. You're going to be able to subscribe and learn and collaborate. But the other thing is we're going to be bringing it to you on social media. We're going to be bringing it to you in all different formats so that you can learn, you can network and collaborate within my ecosystem, and that you feel like you're growing, because part of learning is a two-way communication. So through this podcast, my hope is that you're receiving this information, but then you're reaching out and you're sharing it in my groups, and you're reaching out via social media, and you're collaborating in a way so that we can continue to co-create so that you're thriving and not just surviving. I know that over the last 2.5 years, practices have actually struggled more. That's something that I'm seeing, is that we're finding that a lot of people thought that COVID was the struggle, but it actually, 2023, we're seeing a major dip in practices. And part of that is the recruitment side. We're having trouble getting the right staff in the right place who want to show up to work. We have a different patient census today. The patients of 2025 and beyond are different than the patients of 2020, 2022 even. And so it's hard to believe, but we have to recalibrate the way that our business functions. And a lot of the time we're so focused on keeping up with the trends in healthcare that we're losing sight on the trends of business, the trends of how your private practice functions, the money in, the money out, who's doing the work with you. And I want to say that again, who's doing the work with you? How we're going to motivate them where they feel like they are a stakeholder in your practice, that your business is their business. And so in this podcast, every week we're going to have a different theme. We're going to cover HR. We're going to cover operations. We're going to cover leadership. We're going to cover finance. We're going to cover all different aspects so that you can develop your ecosystem of knowledge and you can create the strategies in place so that your practice is reaching to new heights, so that when a barrier comes in front of you, like a TRICARE East all of a sudden isn't paying you for 30 days, you know what to do. You have baby Brandon in your ear telling you, this is what you should do. I know. It's that simple. The idea is that all of these resources are at your fingertips. And a lot of people asked me, why did I stop the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast and take this hiatus. And it really came down to I needed a break. I needed to get recharged. And I had other visions for how I wanted to help practice owners. And so, as each of you know, I'm on a purpose-driven journey. We are in this together. And so I'm excited now to reach in a new way, because over the last 2.5 years, I actually put on 3 conferences, annual conferences, brought in people from all around the world, brought in speakers and all different resources to really upskill my community. And so now I'm ready for this next challenge. And this next challenge is about unlocking your perspective. So much of what we do in this Private Practice Survival Guide podcast is about mindset. I want to be clear. You can tell me I'm wrong. I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm here to bring a perspective. I'm here to help you see something different. And sometimes it's a matter of I'm on one side of the spectrum, you're on another side of the spectrum, but seeing my side of the spectrum moves you 2 feet closer to my perspective. Does that make me wrong? That can make me wrong. You can be right every day of the week. All I care about is that your private practice is on a trajectory of sustainability and thriving to new heights. And I believe that together we can accomplish that. So I want to challenge each and every one of you, because one of the things that I heard from listeners of my last podcast who were so excited to hear this is coming back is they said, Brandon, I sometimes listen to your episode 6, 10 times. I was like, wow, really? They're like, yeah, there's just so much content. And for those who don't know me, I love to just blow up your brain with data. And the idea is that by blowing up your brain with data, you can write down those tips, those strategies, those things, and even write, if you're listening to this or watching this, write the minute when I say something that you really like and go back and hear that when the time is right. And so together, we're going to put the pieces together. We're going to solve that puzzle for you. So a lot of what we're talking about today and throughout this podcast and in today's environment is how do we work with a society that needs our services, a society that doesn't always value our services in a fiscal way, enable, empower, and engage an audience in terms of our staff that maybe their bucket is not filled by what we do anymore. And maybe transactionally, we need to come up with different strategies for them. So in each episode, you're going to hear me throw out different terms like transactional, transformational, all different metrics and different fundamentals that are going to help you really level up in how you recalibrate your business. So listen, watch on YouTube, subscribe, like us, write a review, anything. Reach out to me on social media. Here's the thing. For this to keep going, I want to see that it's making a difference. This is my vehicle of change. I always talk about this vehicle of change, and my destination is to change the way that healthcare is delivered. And I believe I can do that by helping unlock greater function in the way that your private practice and business functions. So join me each week, write in, ask questions, recommend episodes, and let's continue on our trajectory so we're not just surviving, but we're thriving. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you love this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.